I will talk a little bit about what do we do at EIT Digital to help startups be successful. And this is the Future Networking Solution Business Community. So just to kind of frame this, I'm sure you all know now, we work at EIT Digital on 3 pillars. So it's innovation, education, and entrepreneurship. And I will talk about the middle one, around the entrepreneurship part and what we do there. We have 8 innovation areas, and again, it's a future networking solution. So all 8 of these innovation areas has their own business community. But our focus is today the future networking. And I also want to talk about what values our startups have. And we are a pan-European network, as you know, which means that we have, I think it's 130 partners and companies and startups, and in a big group of communicating and collaborating companies. And the business community and the accelerator program helps with access to market and access to finance. And there is this collaboration. So for instance, just to take Sweden as one example, we have Ericsson as a company that we work with. We have Sting as an incubator. We have SIX as an research institution, and we have KTH as an education and university that we collaborate with. So that's a typical setup in all these countries. And we're talking about, Spain, Paris, France, London, Trento, all over. And what happens is that when a startup from Sweden, for instance, wants to go to Germany, as an example, I would connect with my partner in Germany, and I would say, I have this really cool startup. How can we help this startup be successful in Germany? And we put up a plan, and we work and see what companies do we want to introduce them to, and how can we best make them succeed. And of course, anyone out there in Europe, from Italy or France and Spain and so forth, they can come to Stockholm. And then me and my BDAs or business developers here in Stockholm will look at how can we help this company to accelerate and be successful in Sweden. So this is really, really valuable, as you can understand. And in our community team, we have, of course, Henrik as the Action Line Manager. I'm Business Community Lead. We have Fabienne, who's there, representing France. We have Raul, a colleague of mine from Sting, here in Stockholm. We have Fergie Miller from UK. We have Andrea Conti, that unfortunately could not make it today. And we have Eric from the Netherlands and Belgium. So we try to help the FNS Business Community startups. And what do we do then? This year we started out with going to Barcelona and took 8 startups there, and Raul was leading this effort. We were able to help them to meet up with companies. We arranged with a big event on the Monday evening, where even the former Prime Minister of Sweden showed up, and a lot of investors and innovation managers within different companies were there. So it was a good setup for the startups. We also have done work together with mobile business and the Magnus Melander's SMSE network for Internet of Everything for Real. Magnus had arranged at Things a fantastic get-together with all kinds of different interesting international companies together with startups from everywhere. Then we went to IoT Software Solution World Congress that was arranged by Industrial Internet Consortium in Barcelona. And I will talk more about this event, because this was typically something that I think is the way we should work when we take our startups to conferences, because we were able to really provide a lot of value for the startups. We have also put together a team of head of innovations, head of R&D from large corporations that we are working with in order to introduce our startups here in Stockholm. And then we went to Slush with some startups, which is a big investor conference in Helsinki. And now finally we're here, and we have the 8 startups for the Idea Challenge Award tomorrow. So we do quite a lot of things over the year, and in between this, of course, we coach the startups, and we work with them to help them grow and grow into new areas. So I promised that I would talk a little about this conference. What we were able to do was we really went through the whole agenda of this program, and it was in total, I think, almost 6,000 people attending, but they had, of course, very, very interesting speakers. And so we went through the whole speaker program and contacted every single one that was talking, that had an interesting subject, and then we arranged with meetings for our startups. So before we even went there. So we connected in LinkedIn and really worked hard for the startups. But they got, of course, a very, very interesting experience meeting with the head of all kinds of important companies. And we also were able to arrange with a dinner together with the chief executive officer of the whole Industrial Internet Consortium. So he met with our startups in a very closed setting. So very good setup for that. And just as one example, this is the CTO of GE Aviation. And we took him, and he's just one example, but we took him to our booth, and then we sat him down in a chair, and then we introduced our startups one by one. So they got like 10 minutes each. Very quick pitch. And we served one from the right, and then he turned over, we served the other one from the left. And after 7 or 8 startups, he was like, "Oh, Agneta, no more." But he was, as you can see, very happy, because he made 2 tweets, and this is one of them. So, and then he actually sent his, deputy over to really go down in more detail with all our startups. So, here is a list of the startups that we have in FNS, and I should say that we more or less started with the FNS Business Community this year, so we're quite new. But we have a whole range of startups from Eindhoven. We have Wayleave and Undergrid, and Stockholm we have 4 now, and Paris 3 with Virtuor, and 2 from Italy, Trento. And we also have one that is almost approved to our business community. So I will go through them, but very quickly, just say a few words of each one of these. And we have Lightflex, which is quite a new member of our team, and they do printed active light. So you can put active light into clothing. And it's the active part in it is that it has sensors. So it can, for instance, you can put it on a child jacket, and in Sweden when it's dark out and the child is moving, the light turns on. So the child doesn't have to think about that it should put on a reflex or something to go out in the dark and into traffic. So it's an active light that turns on. When you come home and put it into the dark wardrobe, there's no moment, so the active light will not take battery. So these are just examples of ways how this could be used, but they have been very successful with, for instance, the Swedish police doing interesting testing, and they have very, very interesting work coming up here early spring with some big brands from the US. So this is a really cool technology. Oops, wrong. And we have EvoThings, which has a mobile development application platform. And they really help make it super easy to create mobile apps, both for Android and iPhones, by hiding the difficulty in connections to all kinds of sensors and so forth. And I had a pleasure of working with them and going to a client. The client asked, "We are really interested in seeing what we can do with this." And it was an interesting where you actually moved hardware. And so we put sensors into the hardware, and then they could steer it from the phone. And they got this and were able to make this live for demoing to the client in one day. So very, very quick. And I think when you talked about Evo Things and the hackathon, they really make things happen in a few hours because it's super simple. Next one is Undergrid, and Undergrid is our success story from Netherlands. They were the winners of Idea Challenge last year, so very cool. And they have been able to get clients such as Schiphol and Charles de Gaulle, and they also have an investment from both Schiphol and KLM, I think, that has happened during the year. So very interesting mesh network. We have SenseWaves, and SenseWaves is from France. Yes, France. And they actually have their roots from sound waveform analysis. And they've taken this over to the IoT and to be able to measure and do analysis of all the sensor data that is being collected. And they also won a Cisco Challenge Startup Award this year. Conode and Fireware. Twice, okay. Very, very good. And then SenseWave is another interesting mesh network. They have done very good interesting thing with the smart metering market. And they have, for instance, they are part of, together with Telefonica, for rolling out smart meters in the UK. So that's, I think, many, many millions of smart meters in the home of the UK. And then the other thing now, they've just gone into a collaboration with Reliance together with Intel, and are doing Mumbai as a city of connecting Mumbai, really. And that is, as you can imagine, I think they're talking like 50 million users, a potential for that size. So it's huge. And going a little quickly here, Negentis is also interesting application development platform, and they do the entire life cycle of IoE applications. They have very interesting customers such as Gucci. I think they have Telecom Italia, and they have France Telecom. They have more than 30 big clients. And Waylay is a Belgian company. So we're all over, and they really help with the use cases of Internet of Things and making a platform as a service in around IoE and IoT. So interesting. Then we have Shortcut Labs, which is a fun company. I think most Swedes would know exactly who they are. They do a little button, the flick button. And the flick button can be programmed to do things, your favorite activities or actions on your phone. So if you select it, you can start different kind of use cases. And one click is one thing, double click is another thing, and holding the button longer will do a third thing. So I programmed my flick to first, one click is to find my iPhone, because I usually lose it in different bags or jackets or whatever. So then I easily find it. Or a double click is actually a safety thing. So if I am outside and I feel insecure, I can click it and it will send off messages to my closest friends and saying that I feel insecure. Please call me. If I don't answer, do something. I'm here. And it also sends the location on me. And the last one, holding the button, will start up my favorite list on Spotify. So those are just examples, but they now have a really interesting collaboration with Domino Pizza. So their favorite Domino Pizza buyers, they get a little carton package that looks like the same kind of quality as a pizza box. And when you open it, it's just this one button. And guess what happens if you select the button? So really, really cool. And then we have Cano, that is very interesting as well. They do a smart home hub, if you will. So you have a radiator that is inside everyone's living room. And from that radiator, you can get, of course, heat, but also it's a connectivity opportunity for all different things in your home. So very interesting idea as well. And then we have Plug and Wear from Italy. They do textile with sensors, so you can have things like pressing on the textile can give away signals. You can, if you put liquid on it, it senses it and can warn. And the third thing was humidity, I think. Yeah. So another very, very innovative company. And Virtuor does a new generation of a network box, and that's a French company. So lots of it. And last but not least on this is a new just accepted to our business community is Neue Labs. And they do a flexible toolkit with an embedded component to build IoT wearables and smart products. And this is their sensor. It's a tiny, tiny sensor. And it has all kinds of things, like it detects movements and can follow movements. It's accelerators, humidity, temperature, and it also have 12 input and output ports, so you can extend this. But this is really interesting because it's so tiny but so intelligent. And for instance, you can put it in small jewelries, like a ring, or just a little necklace or something. So they are doing very interesting connections to this, and they have a huge contract discussion with one of the large airlines to do a very exciting thing. So, what a startup needs? They need coaching and they need connections to the big companies. And in order to get this, we started now, since we are based here out of Sweden, we created a good, close collaboration with the biggest clients or companies in Sweden. So we have a connection now of 25 head of innovation, head of R&D, and from many of these companies, and also the IoT person, the top-level strategist in Sweden from IBM, Microsoft, Intel, and Oracle. So this is extremely valuable, and what we're doing is that we're scheduling like one-day meetings with, for instance, IKEA, where we bring the startups to IKEA, or to EIT Digital actually. IKEA comes to EIT Digital, and we let them meet a selection of the startups that we believe might be beneficial for them to meet. And this becomes a very close relationship, so we learn more and more about all these companies, so that we can, when there are new startups joining our program, we can introduce them directly to the companies that would be interested. So that's about it, and we're not so late. I tried to catch up here. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
So thank you.